Hi guys, happy new year. I'm super excited to have you all on this channel. Welcome back. I am Samuel Trinity. You know the drill, guys. Help this channel grow by subscribing to the channel, watching videos, liking them, commenting, and sharing video and channel link with family, friends, and colleagues. So it's the new year. I come bearing gifts with no ulterior motives, but simply to help strengthen our homes and marriages. I have with me today a family doctor, a consultant family medicine in the person of Dr. Adewumi Adesida. Today's topic is submission in marriage. And in my opinion, I think that doctor has come up with a way to simplify submission in marriage as well as Christian submission in marriage. But you don't have to take my word for it. So stay glued to hear from the horse's mouth. So doctor, over to you.
Thank you for having me on the program.
You're welcome, doc.
Like I've been introduced, I'm a consultant in family medicine, which includes handling family affairs. Like the topic says, submission in marriage. I would like to briefly define those two key words in the topic, which is submission and marriage. Basically, marriage is two adults coming together to share their lives together, which is physical, mental, social, and spiritual. So it's practically bringing two lives or two worlds together to share with each other, be each other's companion for other purposes like conjugation, for reproduction, and one other purpose of marriage, which is to be a representation of what the relationship of Christ and church look like. So basically, that is marriage. Submission is simply defined as respect for an authority. From that simple definition of submission, it simply means that somebody is an authority, while in quotes, someone is like subject. So which, if we apply it to this topic, is like saying the man is the one in position of authority, while the woman is the one under the authority of the man. So submission simply means the wife obeying the authority or respecting the authority of the man. And if you ask me further, this topic is like talking about one out of the three things that a man is to a woman. A man is in position of authority to a woman. That's just one of the three things that the man is to the woman. The second one is the companion or partner of the woman. And the third thing is the man can also be a baby to his wife. If you get these three components, one is higher, which is the authority part. Then one is at the same level, which is the partnership. Then the lowest one is being a baby to your wife. Of course, men occupy these three roles at different times. And that is where the major issue is. A lot of women do not know or they cannot differentiate when their husband is transforming from each of these roles. And that's very vital for a woman to know. If you know when your man is taking a position of authority and is exercising his authority, then you will know how to approach it. When your husband is just occupying the role of a partner, a companion, a friend, you will know how to handle it. And then there are times that your husband is like your baby, like you are a mother to him. At that junction too, you know how to handle your man. So but today's topic is dwelling on the issue of submission, which is dwelling more on the role of a man as an authority over a woman. And the submission, like I said, must be all encompassing. It must be in everything. It must be physical, it must be mental, it must be spiritual, and it must be social. I will expatiate as we go further. Just to define the topic. So maybe when my host asks more questions, then I'll be able to shed more light on what I've said so far.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I actually have some questions here. I actually did some research on my own, read some Bible verses, and from my understanding of what I read, submission is a two-way thing. According to the Bible, the woman is to submit to the husband. Likewise, the husband loving his wife. But these days, when people talk about submission in marriage, it's like the microscope is more on the women to submit. The way I see it, there's a condition. No, I won't really say a condition, but for your wife to submit to you as the husband, you also have to do something in return. Do we have to view submission as a condition? Like, if my husband doesn't love me, I won't submit to him, or do we submit to him regardless?
Let me say the issue of submission in the first place. Why did it come up in marriage? It came up because marriage is an institution. Marriage is just like an organization. It must have a head. If you look at the whole world, even the whole continent, the whole country, the whole states, the local governments, down to the family, and then down to marriage. Marriage is the minimal group of people because it comprises, on a normal day when we are talking about Christian marriage now, it comprises just two people. And these two people, one person must lead the way. That is where the issue of submission comes in. Because in a situation that you have a group of people and there is no head, there is no someone to actually take the lead, everybody may just be doing whatever they like and they may not make much progress. That is why the issue of submission comes in marriage. Now, I agree with you completely that submission in marriage is conditional. Let me put it this way. Even when Bible was talking about it, about submission in marriage, the first person that God addressed is the woman. In fact, where issue of submission was really addressed in the Bible was Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. When Paul was talking to the wives in Ephesus church, he told them, he said, wives, he first called the wives and talked to them and asked them that they should submit unto their husband. And he set a standard for the submission. He said, as church submits unto Christ. And he now went ahead in the next verse to talk to the men. He said, love your wife. And he gave a standard too, just the way Christ loved the church. That has already elaborated the condition attached to submission, which simply means the woman is supposed to submit the way the church submits unto Christ. The question now is, how does church submit unto Christ? It simply means that the church obeys the right things from God. God can never ask us to do something evil. That's exactly the same way a woman should be submissive to the man. In the sense that if your husband is asking you now that let us come together and start smoking weed, you don't need to obey that. That is not submission anymore. That can destroy you. So at that junction, the submission is exhausted, is already expired. That's wrong. You don't have to obey that. You don't have to submit in that situation because it is wrong. That submission is no longer the way the church is submitting unto Christ. So it's conditional. And then secondly, God now went ahead and said the man should love the wife just the way Christ loves the church. So in other words, it's encouraging. A cycle is supposed to be created. The cycle is the cycle of submission, love, submission, love, submission, love. That's how it should be. When you love a woman, submission is easier. It's very easy, but it is not a condition for submitting to your husband, and it's not a condition for loving your wife. You still have to love your wife. It's an order from God. It's a divine order. Even part of the Bible goes ahead to tell us that even if your husband is not born again, you should be so submissive to him that from the way you carry yourself, from the way you behave, from the way you submit unto him. Even this an unbeliever who does not even understand anything about Christ, he should be able to repent and say, the way you respect me, the way you obey my authority despite all my shortcomings is amazing to me. And that can even change the man. And so also, even if your wife is not submissive, you are still to love her. You are still to play your role because that is your own order. It's just like military and paramilitary. If you are giving your own order, go and do this. It doesn't matter what others are doing. You still go ahead, do your own part, and leave the rest. And in doing your own part, it can even change the other person and motivate the other person to do his or her own parts.
Thank you very much, Doctor. So I just have a quote that I wrote down from my understanding of submission. For me, submission is God's way of maintaining a balance in the home or marriage. We are both equal, but someone has to be the pilot while the other the co-pilot. Else the marriage would end up a mess. So
That's
you would,
it.
okay, that would be
Yes, I totally agree. When I started the conversation, when I was defining what submission or in marriage is, I mentioned the three roles.
yes,
The man, it's just like, see my fingers.
yes,
This is the man
yes,
being in position of authority.
okay,
This is partnership, companionship. You are friends, you are equal. And then this is even being below the woman. Okay, why do men go on their knees to propose to their wife? At that junction, it's like seeing her as somebody who has the key, somebody you are under at that junction, not really under, but somebody like you are begging, you are appealing that, okay, please, my wife, I love you, I cherish you, can you be mine, and so on. But when you are in this one, you are talking about being at the same level, friendship, and this is how marriage should be. These three roles should be played out. And that's what I will love women to understand. That your husband is in position of authority. It's not a position to be occupied 24/7. No, he swings, he switches. Your husband can come from this position of authority in 1 minute and it's already a friend. And from friendship, it can go below you. You can now be the one even saying, "Oh, I don't want you to go out," and your husband will listen to you and will not go out because you are a companion, you are like a mother to him, and so on. But there is a junction that the man has to take a lead, especially when it comes to something that is collective, something that has to do with protecting you or protecting the union or against the hostile environment and all those things. And even sometimes the husband may need to protect you against yourself. Sometimes, as a woman, you may do one or two things that you may think is right, but the man thinks is not right. And the man, being a Christ over your life in a way, needs to take control and make sure that your safety, your security, your being okay is his priority. At that junction, he may exercise the authority and say, "Don't go out. Outside there is not safe." At that junction, he's occupying the authority aspect. So I will agree with that quote in totality. There is equal part. There is even a part that the man is a little bit lower than the wife. When you want to propose to your wife, when you want to be romantic and all those things, you can, this is something you do. It doesn't take anything away from you as a man. But this role is always there, which is even most times occasional, that a man will have to stamp his feet and say no, and no is final. And it's just, maybe if you ask me in the marriage, I would say maybe 5% of the time. Most of the time, 90%, you and your wife, you are the equal level, friendship, companion, and so on. And in 5%, maybe lower, below your wife, your wedding anniversary, when you want to propose and all those things, you want to make her feel good, you can go a little bit low, make her feel like, oh, she's in charge.
one more question, Doctor. So, does competence have a place in this submission? Like, take for instance now, say the wife is older or she's more educated, she earns more in the home, or the man is slow. So, does competence in any form, be it education, age, social, finance, does it have a role in
Yes, we are all human. And I won't lie to you, submission, if you want to face reality, submission is easier when there are some factors in place. Okay, a good example is the man being older, the man being more intelligent, the man being more financially capable. All this, when we talk about authority, there are some things that make you an authority. There are some powers you wield that make you an authority. And it's easier for everybody to look at you and say, "Oh, this is an authority." And naturally, the submission comes with it. If the man has all those things, older, more financially stable, more mentally capable, more degrees, more everything, more spiritual, more social, more everything, is easy for the woman to easily submit to him. But this is not the case all the time. This is not the case all the time. And now, this is where being intentional now comes in. A good example is you marry a man you are older than, you marry a man you are more educated than, you marry a man that you are more successful than financially. You still have to submit, because Bible says it is in everything that you have to submit to him. Now, where the problem will come in such marriages, okay, a man that is mentally incapable like you, to now convince the man that, oh, this superior argument, he should obey it. That's where you have problem. And this is where we appeal to women. Try and marry a man that you can submit to. Don't go into marriage hoping that, yes, I'll sort that one out, I'll sort that one out. There is nothing like that. If you know that you can, even during courtship, if you know that you cannot submit to that man, don't go ahead, because marriage is for the rest of your life. We spend more time in marriage than we spend outside marriage. Most women get married maybe an average of 25 years. Most men get married an average of 30 years. And we are hoping to live to 100 years. So can you see? Maybe 1/3 of your life outside marriage and 2/3 or even more than that inside marriage. And then you want to spend the rest of your life with a man that you know that is incapable of being an authority over you. That is not worth it. Don't go into it. But if you know that this man, wow, it may even be the intelligence that will even make you wow. That makes you to look up naturally to him. Or maybe he's more financially successful, or maybe he's more, he's older than you. All this can still be there, and there may be no submission. But naturally, it makes it easier for the woman to submit. Submission is an intentional thing. That's what every woman should know. You have to be deliberate in doing that.
Thank you very much. So, if we live with nothing at all today, I believe we should understand or know that submission is intentional. Marry someone you know you can submit to with your partner. Do you see him as someone you can submit to? If you don't, I think you need to keep that relationship a routine. Then I'd like to leave you with this question: what does submission mean to you? So thank you so much, Dr. Adewumi Adesida.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you here. So I just hope that this video will help demystify all of the confusion, wrong teachings, doctrines about marriage, submission, both on the part of the man and the woman. If you have more questions or there are issues that you hoped that would address in submission in marriage that we did not, you know what to do. Kindly leave a comment below. You know I'm always reading and ready to reply you. If you would like me to address whatsoever issues, either alone or with the doctor is always available, always at your service. This is what he does and loves doing. Thank you so much. Don't forget, be intentional. Be intentional about submission in your marriage. Don't go into your marriage with an idea or a manual from someone else's marriage, and don't let the things you see or hear out there scare you. Get ready to get married, but be very intentional and make sure your partner, your significant other, is someone that you can submit to in marriage. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can connect with Doctor on Instagram at farm_blog and on Facebook from inside my consulting room. It's just a DM away. Don't be shy. Thank you for your time. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget, guys, like, comment and share video link. See you again next time. Bye.